Well, good evening, everyone, and good morning to my dear friend Gordon Tan. Happy New Year to you, Gordon.
Happy New Year to you, Tommy. And how's the New Year been?
You know, I'm not sure about you. I love that Christmas season for those 2 or 3 weeks right before Christmas. Nobody is working. A lot of times, I work a lot with different ministries. And so, a lot of times during the Christmas season, nobody works. And so, for the last 3 weeks, and probably this week as well, too, since we're going on vacation, it really is kind of quiet. You work a little bit, you go home a little bit early, and you wake up early, and you still but nobody responds to email. So I got all the stuff that I want to check, boxes checked, done.
Right, great. Yes, and I agree that it's really the nicest time of the year. In fact, I think it's the happiest time of the year. You don't see as many happy faces as that time of the year.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, now weather-wise, it's still kind of cold here in Chicago. How's the weather in Singapore?
It's beginning to get a little warmer. That always tells me that we're approaching the Chinese Lunar New Year.
Yeah. And Chinese New Year actually does come early this year in January versus February.
That's right. That's right. And so in Singapore, the decorations for Chinese New Year are all up in the streets, particularly in Chinatown.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hey, is the Chinatown in Singapore big?
Relatively, I think we've got quite a similarly sized towns like Chinatown. There's a Malay town and there's an Indian town.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Malay Town, Indian Town, Chinatown, are they like in different parts? Like one has the east side, one has the west side, one has the south side.
Singapore isn't that big, so Chinatown's towards the center of the business district area. India is a little bit towards the northern,
Yeah.
and Malay is probably a bit towards the east.
Got it. Hey, what was a highlight for you during this Christmas vacation?
Wow, that's a good one. There's so many things that happen, but I think the real highlight was, I guess sitting down and thinking about what I'm going to do this year.
Yeah. Well, I hope the plan is that you and I will still. I think we're gonna head into year 3 now. I hope the plan is that you and I will continue to do this every single week.
Exactly. I think I really enjoy doing this, and so I hope this continues.
Right. Yeah. It is. I'm not sure about you, right? Well, you have to study, especially with your coaching. I like doing this because I get to talk with you about a topic with yourself who is a senior leader. And sometimes in life, you got to do things that allows your brain to continue to grow, allows you to be able to be stretching. These conversations allow me to do that.
Yes, and I think for me, it's a kind of discipline to be able to think about something, read about something, and then digest it and bring it to this
Yeah.
show.
Well, before we start, our topic today is how to cultivate gratitude, compassion, and pride on your team, which is very important. As you look back on your Christmas thing, is there a leadership lesson in the last couple of weeks that has stuck out to you as you've gone through the Christmas holidays?
Oh yeah. So two, actually, it has got to do with gratitude. I think because the first is really sometimes you feel as if people are not you're not doing anything for people by just listening, but just being there sometimes is important.
Yeah,
And sometimes you feel that you're not doing enough, but sometimes just encouraging or supporting is more than enough.
yeah.
And that
Which
was what was on my Facebook post this year.
Well, it goes back to what you said. I had a breakfast with a individual, and this individual recently separated by from their spouse, right? And a lot of times they were telling me about what happened, all the trouble, all the struggles, all of those different things. And in some sense, I've been married about 11 years. The last thing, Gordon, that you probably would agree with that I could have said to this individual is, I know what you're feeling. No, you don't. And all you could do is listen, affirm, ask questions. And I think this individual talked about 75% of the time, but that person really felt reaffirmed because all I did was ask clarifying questions and reaffirm that person.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, isn't it? That just being there.
Yeah. And in some sense, you're asking questions saying, hey, I hear you. Hey, tell me more about this versus, oh, yeah, okay. But you got to dig deeper, help them understand, dig deeper, help them find hope. That's your job.
Yes, and those are skills I would say that's transferable to being a leader, right?
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Hey, one little incident as well too that I had to face is we have an event going on next week, right? So I'm coming back home, but there's an event. So this particular group wanted a speaker, and so the person I'm dealing with is a little bit younger as well too. And so this person wanted a speaker, and it's hard to get this particular speaker. So I actually ended up getting that speaker. And so in the midst of that, I said, "Hey, look, it's confirmed. I will connect you with that person, his contact, his admin, all the other stuff." Well, I forgot to connect them with the admin. So today, but then it's confirmed. So today I go back to that person. I said, "Hey, just wanted to let you know everything's all confirmed. What else do you need from me?" "Oh, I didn't hear from you because you never connected me, that person. So we canceled it."
Oh.
Yeah. But one of the things that I wish that person did is because I told that particular individual, it's confirmed. So as a result, if you didn't hear me connect with that person, I communication is so important. Go to extra step and say, "Hey, can you connect me with that person? Hey, just wanted to make sure that we're still on the same page."
Right. Yeah. 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 That's well. Sometimes we take things for granted, aren't we? Don't we?
One of the things that you wrote about this article is that leaders want teams that work hard and persevere in the face of challenges. But it is not enough to nurture grit among your employees. You also need to encourage grace, decency, respect, and generosity, all which mark a person as someone with whom others want to cooperate. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I think we usually think of teams as going through challenges as powering through them. And I think powering through sometimes really misses the point in terms of meeting challenges. So grit has got a very interesting aspect of it. One is resiliency, but the other is also that malleability to be able to adapt to situations.
Yeah.
And I think grace, as that article suggests, is about respect and about a few other wonderful things that we can talk about now.
Yeah. According to research, the best ways to cultivate resilience and grace, decency, respect, and generosity at work is having a culture of gratitude, compassion, and pride. These three emotions not only increase perseverance and patience, but also builds social bonds. Why is building social bonds so important?
Well, so I think it starts with a little bit about gratitude and compassion. So gratitude is about acknowledging what's been done for you. Compassion is showing what you can do for others. And I think they're kind of opposite sides of a coin or two sides of a coin.
Yeah.
And when people start doing both sides of that coin, they get to reciprocate. That reciprocation becomes, or reciprocity becomes the bond that glues them together.
Yeah. Let's talk about those three emotions. What's the first one that appears on your list?
Well, the one that appears to my list would be, be feeling this, what do I say? Someone helping you. And when you feel someone helping you, I think that's what becomes an important part of, oh, yeah, someone is helping me. And so I want to help others.
Yeah. And
So
so this
that,
whole idea of gratefulness, right? Gratitude, grateful.
yep. And I think the article talks about gratitude being that ability to bring teams together and wanting to reach out to help someone else.
Yeah. It's a story. A lot of times it's a famous story that is found in the Gospels. Jesus and the Samaritan, no, not Samaritan. Well, actually, the Samaritan woman, but more so the Good Samaritan, where that person is now robbed, and so multiple people will come over to him, and no one helped him, but a Samaritan comes to him, and we all know that Jewish people and Samaritans don't get along, but that particular person helped him. That infuses a sense of gratitude that exists.
Exactly. And probably this person had felt some gratitude about what someone else did for him and extends that by extension. Which brings us to the second emotion, which is compassion. He looked upon this poor guy that has been robbed and he had compassion for him. And I think in the same way as we work, when we see someone snowed under with work or
Yeah.
struggling to do something, you can, or we will be able to experience compassion for our fellow colleagues. And that's when the bond starts to build.
Yeah, yeah. And I would probably say compassion not only for your team members, but even sometimes bosses or clients or even team members you don't get along with or you don't very much like. How do you build bridges in that by being grateful and compassion, even for people you don't like or get along with?
Exactly. And actually, getting along is an important aspect of it. So, one of the things that we think about when people feel burnt out or overworked is to do less. But actually, what they need to do is spend more time together. And
Yeah,
I think that's really spending more time that builds towards each other,
yeah, yeah,
as
yeah.
opposed to, stressed out.
Yeah. And wouldn't you say a lot of times, don't, I love the whole idea of compassion. There's gratefulness, but there's compassion. Is compassion with what you do to help them people, or even the words that you say to affirm another team member?
Yeah, exactly. And compassion doesn't have to do with actions all the time. Compassion sometimes is just being there and, as we earlier talked about, lending a ear.
Yeah. What's the third one?
The third one's an interesting one. It's a little bit surprising that it's an important ingredient in team building, and that's pride. And we're not talking about boastful pride. I think pride in the sense of achievement
Yeah.
in the work that you've done,
Yeah.
the sense of the standard you have upheld in the work you've done.
Yeah.
And I think that pride is an important aspect
Yeah.
of team building too.
And I would probably say that pride needs to exist in every aspect of whatever role that you play, whether it's the highest part of the office, whether you're the president or CEO, or whether you're the lowest person, the person who delivers the mail, the person who makes all the copy. You have pride in your work that what you do contributes to the overall success of the company.
Yes, and just as an example, if let's say the person who did the photostating and arranging the administration had pride in her work or his work, and you are that person reports to you, you get you when you show gratitude to this person then begins to say, "Wow, I can connect with my boss," and the boss also connects with this person because he or she is doing the work so well that you can kind
Yeah.
of delegate it.
Gordon, have you ever heard the airline Southwest Airline?
I hear many interesting stories. Tell me one.
Well, mostly a lot of times in recent days, because of the weather, everything like that, over 25,000 flights were affected within the Southwest Airline family. When you think of Southwest Airline, you still think of the friendly airline that had great customer service, cheap prices, all of that. And that was what they called the Herb Kelleher way. That was the
Yep.
president, CEO. Well,
Mhm.
a lot of times he retired. And so he's gone through two CEOs now. And so now the one that came right after Herb Keller took for granted that people saw Southwest as this wonderful airline, low cost, friendly people, flight attendants, everything like that. And it stopped, it took it for granted, and started looking at the bottom line. It
Oh
started looking at
dear.
profits. It started
Oh
looking
dear.
at all of their systems started getting old. They never emphasized research and development, efficiency, all that stuff. And it came to a head when that snowstorm hit. And as a result, 25,000 flights were all affected, and Southwest could not do a single thing. And there was this one post where this pilot shared about the Herb Kelleher way, but then at the same time, Southwest started taking it for granted and didn't take pride in its actions.
Right. And I would even throw in compassion and gratitude. Compassion
Yeah.
for the staff, compassion for the clients, and maybe a gratitude for how they've been making the revenue, right?
Gratitude in the sense that your clients have always been loyal to you and
Exactly.
you've taken that for
Exactly.
granted.
Yes. And if you just count the beans, that's going to be something that's going to slowly slip away.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It also reminds me here in the U.S. this week. I know today we're going a little longer, but I want to football, American football, and in an NFL football, there's this player, Darvin Ham. He is a safety over at the Buffalo Bills. Well, he was playing the Cincinnati Bengals, T. Higgins, wide receiver. And T. Higgins caught the ball from Joe Burrow running. Darvin Ham's, Darvin Ham, I completely forgot. It's not Darvin Ham. He's the coach of the Lakers, but there's a guy named Ham who hits him. And then from that point on, he gets up, but he collapses, Gordon. He has a cardiac arrest.
Oh, yes, I heard about this.
Yes, and so they're doing CPR, they're resuscitating, all of that stuff. But it was in the days ahead that you saw different people who really had compassion. All the teams from around the National Football League who rallied around this 24-year-old second-year player, and even his foundation that was trying to raise money for kids suddenly raised $8 million for people who rallied around him.
That's amazing, right? I think there's always a space in our hearts that God put to have compassion and also to understand gratitude.
Yeah. And you do, yeah. Gordon, thank you very much. I hope a lot of times even this topic helps us as we engage through these things.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you always.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you one final question. Gratitude, compassion, pride. Which one was the easiest for you? Which one did you have to work on the most?
Surprisingly, I think it was probably compassion.
Why is that?
I guess gratitude was something quite easy to do. You can practice it. Pride was something that you were taught in school.
Yeah.
But compassion was something that you had to kind of dig out from inside you.
I would probably say, Gordon, I'm actually very similar to you. Pride, in whatever job, I really believe that you give it your best effort. Gratitude, you're thankful for the team members. Compassion, just being patient and coming alongside different team members was something I need to learn.
Yeah, I think it's the same with me.
Tuesdays with Gordon, how to cultivate gratitude, compassion, pride on your team. So, Gordon, as always, thank you very much. I'll see you in 2 weeks, actually.
Thank you. Yes, enjoy your holiday.
Talk soon.
Talk soon.